Most people think that working in finance means having your money life sorted, but today's guest proves that even the experts aren't immune to burnout, financial stress, and a few setbacks. For more than 20 years, Bec Allan built a career inside Australia's major banks. She climbed the ranks, built a reputation, and did everything right. But behind the scenes, she was exhausted, stretched thin and carrying the weight of being a single mum, trying to hold everything together, including $80,000 of personal debt. But Bec turned things around, she rebuilt her entire relationship with money, and she now teaches others to do the same. That's today on Money and a Good Life. Hello, my name's Stephanie Coombs and I'm here with my co-host, the money man, Ryan Watson.
Hi, Steph. Great to be back.
Yeah, do you like that one, the money man?
I do, because I never know exactly what you're going to say, and I do like to know what people are going to be saying. So, but hey.
It's okay. I'll make it weirder next time.
Yeah, let's
like.
Okay.
I'll ramp it up a bit. Today, of course,
Excellent.
we're joined by Bec Allan. She's a money coach, mortgage broker, and the founder of a coaching practice that helps women build confidence and financial clarity. Hello, Bec.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Bec.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're good. Now, I love your story because I think there are a lot of people who carry a little bit of guilt and embarrassment about their money situation. And from the outside, everyone seems to have it together. And you're someone who knows money. But you had a few rough patches.
You could say that.
You pulled it together, yeah. So, let's begin with your story then. Now, it obviously hasn't always been smooth sailing. So let's start with your work. You spent more than 20 years working in banking, but that ended quite abruptly. What happened there?
So I've worked across various lenders over my 20 years and started at the bottom in customer service call centres and didn't think it was going to be a career because if my money story back then was appalling as it was. So to then forge a career in that industry is something that I'm quite proud of, to be honest. And unfortunately, it didn't really end how I had envisaged, but it wasn't really an ending. It was actually the closing of a chapter to open up a brand new door that has just allowed my life to flourish and for me to step into what I'm really meant to be doing in this life, which is around empowerment, around money, and particularly women is what I'm really passionate about, given my background and my story and what I've experienced in my life.
So you are still working in mortgage broking as well, and you're also doing the financial coaching.
Yeah, so I left the banking world and just as COVID began, actually.
Yep.
And it was perfect timing because everything went online. So I launched my coaching business at that time. And it was great. Like it didn't take off hugely, but it was exactly what I could manage, and it was a really good ability to grow and learn about the online space. But then I missed the lending and the problem solving and the creative thought process of finance. And so I reached out to one of the brokers that I worked with alongside when I was in the banks, Ray Chamberlain, and because he'd always said if I ever wanted a job, I'd always have one with him. So I reached out, said, do you have a job? I missed this.
I'll call you on that, yeah.
Well, because when he says, he means it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Really does. Yeah.
He really did. And so we caught up for a coffee and then, I think we lose track of time. Like, because I've known him probably, we say it's over 10 years. We don't know how long exactly. And I think I've been there now for 4.5 years and I've since become a qualified broker. And it's incredible to be part of a business that empowers women and to be appreciated in so much. And it allows me to still do what I'm passionate about in my coaching business as well. And it all fits in together. Yeah. It's all intertwined because people have debt and I can provide a tangible solution as well for that on top of my coaching.
Well, let's talk a bit about your financial situation, if you don't mind. Look under the bonnet. You're someone who is obviously smart about money. You might not have had the best money story at the beginning, but you got to learn and you've worked in this industry. So how did you end up in $80,000 in debt?
So I had all the logical sense around banking and finance, I guess you could say, but I didn't have any concept or awareness of the emotional side and the mindset and the money stories and the beliefs and so on that we cultivate over our lives. And I'd been through a situation in my life that led me to become a single mum where everything had been taken away. and I lost control and lost a house and was on the verge of bankruptcy due to those circumstances. And bankruptcy would have been the easy solution, but working in the industry, you're not allowed to be bankrupt because it's kind of a contradiction.
Right.
So that was really a blessing because I had to figure it out. So I got out of that situation, and then in the next stage of my life where I became a single mum, I had a fear around holding money and it being safe with me.
Yeah.
So then what that meant is I got into this pattern of spending before I had it. It was like a constant cycle of credit cards, just that one would get maxed out, let's get another one. And it was just an ever-evolving beast until I was drowning. And again, verge of bankruptcy basically because I couldn't meet all the repayments. Ended up doing 3 jobs, so working full-time.
Wow.
I had a cleaning job on the side. My daughter would be in the pram of a night while I'm scrubbing toilets and so on in office buildings to claw my way back out. And I was like, this isn't the life I'm going to live.
That must have been exhausting.
It was.
How long did that go on for?
It took me about 2.5 years
Wow.
to claw
That's
back
a
from
long
that.
time.
And I hid it all because I was
Yeah.
ashamed of that too, because I was like, I'm a finance professional and I had a really successful career and I did really well in what I did. And I was like, I can't let people know that this is my situation or my life. So yeah, I hid it.
That must make you a much better financial coach in a lot of ways as well, because you know what the pressures are. Like, you're not looking at this from an intellectual point of view.
No.
You know exactly what it feels like to
I
be in
had
that
the sleepless
situation.
nights. I had the anxieties. I had every time a private number would call my phone, I'd just like almost not be able to breathe because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's someone chasing something and I don't have it. And it'd be like, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to put food on the table? Where's the petrol coming? Like, it was just chaos the whole time. And it consumed me for so long. But at the same time, I was trying to portray this woman that was in a successful career and as a single mum and trying to portray something that wasn't my reality.
So what was the turning point where you actually managed to start getting on top of it when you took the extra jobs? Was there a moment, something that you can point to?
My daughter actually had to have dental surgery when she was 3. And I had health insurance, but I had to pay an excess. And I was like, I can't pay for it. And I had no one to turn to ask for it. And so she was in pain and I'm standing there going, how am I going to do this? Like, this isn't okay. And it was probably that moment that I was like, okay, I need to get serious. I need to change this. No one's coming to save me. I'm stubborn too, so I wouldn't ask anyone for help. And I was just like, I just doubled down. And it was a period of literally counting the pennies of where they were going. But I was like, I'm just going to do this for 6 months and I'm going to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
And it was like I got ahead to be able to then fix it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a lot. It's hard. A lot of people don't have the wherewithal to get through something like that.
Yeah, and I think I grew up, my parents broke up very early and my dad's and my mum's life and circumstances were polar opposites. But my mum, as a single mum, she had this identity that you could only ever live like just getting by. You could never be in front. So she would only work to the point that would just get her to that line, never in front of it, which she could have done by just half a day extra of work. And I was like, I'm not going to be that woman either. And it's actually my grandma, who's 93 amazing years young, and she was widowed at 55, and that's when her life began. Like, she wasn't allowed to have a bank account. She wasn't allowed to drive or do any of those things until my grandpa passed away. And she'd learnt life at 55. And she said to me, when my marriage ended, she wrote me a letter, actually, handwritten letter, and I've still got it. It's on the fridge. Yeah. It's faded so much now you can't read it.
It's on the fridge?
Yep, it's on my fridge.
Wow.
And she just said, this doesn't have to be your story. You get to write it however you want. And that's my narrative.
Wow.
And I figure at 55, if she could restart her whole life,
Yeah.
I can do it too.
And then actually have an amazing life too.
Yeah, and I had the skills, the knowledge and the experience to be able to do it. She didn't.
Yeah.
So you got through this really tough time. What has that time taught you?
It taught me about my resilience and my strength and my ability to find the solutions. I guess that's part of being in the banking world too. Like, is I love the problem solving and the solutions, but I was like, if this is what I've gone through with my knowledge and skills, then what are other people going to do that don't have this knowledge and skill that I've achieved through my career? And I want to help people. I don't want people to feel what I felt, particularly women. I don't want them to be having the sleepless nights, avoiding their money, thinking it's not available to them. They can't choose the life they want when we all can.
And for the fact that you've walked more than a mile in their shoes, and then I think you used the word help back, you can then go and turn this into such a positive and help a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is whatever your story is to right now, there's no right or wrong. It's what it is. It's who you are to this moment, but we can all make the choice to have it different.
So why was it money coaching that you felt particularly drawn to?
I think just establishing myself in the finance world and just it always being about numbers and bank accounts and bank balances and profit and loss statements and all of that, I was like, it's not just that. What I learnt was we have these emotional conditioning, stories, behaviours, beliefs that, again, aren't right or wrong. They've come from our parents, society, cultures, etc. And how do you even understand how to bring all of that together if you don't even know how to manage your bank account, or if you're
and even if you're aware of them,
Correct.
even if you're aware that you have them or you don't.
Correct. Yeah. And I think so. I was like, this is work that needs to be done. It's not taught in schools. There is no, where to go to get that help. Like, you can go to a psychologist to get help for emotional problems and so on in your life, but what do you do about money? There's nothing. And so I just was like, this is me. This is what I want to do. This is who I'm here to be.
How did you work out what your money story was? When did you become aware of what was tripping you up?
I think I'm still learning it, to be honest. It's so many layers. Yeah. And money was never talked about growing up. It was always shushed. Don't talk about it. It's not allowed. And there was never any awareness of what money was at all. It was something that would cause quite a lot of conflict in family, so it felt unsafe. There was then a lack of trust, and then I had it all ripped apart from me. And so there's many layers to my story, and I'm still learning them, and they still pop up now in new ways that I'm not aware of, I guess, as different life circumstances come through. But I'm able to catch myself on them now and be able to be curious and dive into it and go, no, I'm more worthy than this. I deserve different.
When you have a client now who comes to you and needs money coaching, is that the first place you start?
No, it's about hearing them first and like what do they think is their biggest block right now? And it's never that. It's never what the perception is. It's so much deeper than that. But it's like, okay, well, what did you come to me for? And quite often it'll be just like, I want to get a budget and I want to have more money. I want to be able to afford to go on holidays and things like that. And it's like, I hate the word budget. It's such a dirty word and I don't believe in it whatsoever. It's kind of like a fad diet. Like you want to lose 4 kilos for summer, go on a diet. A budget's the same thing. But it puts you into a sense of deprivation and restriction that doesn't fix anything. You're just avoiding the problem. You're denying yourself what you enjoy, and then you just go into this binge pattern of emotional spending or whatever it may be, and so you're not getting ahead at all.
Yeah. Is that something you hear that's quite common?
Yes.
Yeah. I've never sort of resonated with budgets personally, as you know. And as you are aware, I did have a meeting with Tribeca.
Yes. I was like, you had a meeting?
Yeah. And we set up a cash flow for me.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not Bec. I'm not privy to any of this. See, I'm not privy to this.
Higo came in and taught me a little bit about, it's so funny because we've talked about this stuff on the podcast.
We love cash flow.
We love cash flow
and structure.
And money stories and all this sort of stuff. It's so funny because, hearing about your story with debt and knowing a thing and doing a thing are so different because we've been doing this podcast for a while now. I know the things because I listen to what people are telling me and I write the scripts and I'm aware of it and I agree with everything that's being said.
Yeah.
But was I doing the thing? Nah.
No, well, this is the thing. This is the thing as well, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of what Beck talks about, people can often be focusing on the wrong thing, or they think it's this, but it's actually it's more intrinsic.
Yeah.
It's going to the source. We talked already today around, mindset or what we choose to focus on, and they're not having the skills. So people potentially are focusing on the wrong thing, not getting it right because it's the wrong thing, not talking in riddles.
Yeah.
And then they lambast themselves and they're so judgmental. And then that's the narrative, without stepping on Beck's toes, that's the narrative that's going around in their mind.
Well, again, for me, it was really interesting because I'm aware of all this sort of stuff. Because I have worked with you guys and I've spoken, I've learned so much and absorbed so much about the philosophy and ethos.
Can we go as far as to say you've drunk the Kool-Aid?
I have.
You've drunk the Kool-Aid.
But even then, I still wasn't like, I was super avoidant with my money, but there's something about talking to a person and them talking to you and like you can read all the books and whatever and maybe you get something out of that, but there is something about knowing it and then having someone talk to you about your own situation. And it was different.
And people who know me know I love a saying, but a problem shared is a problem halved.
It totally is.
I love that.
And like I didn't even, and lo and behold, I didn't have a problem. So we just sorted out my cash flow.
Yep.
Because it's like, well, look, with the money that you're bringing in, and I feel like we should do a whole episode on this at some other point in the future.
A Steph episode.
Yeah, just me. Just me.
Can do.
Yeah,
can
exactly. It's just me and a microphone. But for what I was, going through, it's like, oh, well, actually, for what you're doing as well as you can at the moment. But like instead, let's just put in a cash flow. And that has actually relieved a huge amount of stress for me. It's like I get the money is going into one place. I get paid a little salary that is my own money, but I'm not worried about when I'm getting paid or where I'm moving it. It's just made life so much easier.
And hopefully the story is now I'm doing okay.
Yeah, it is.
As opposed to I've got it wrong or someone else is doing it. Not saying that was of you, but I'm doing okay. This is my journey.
And for me, it was like, oh God, I should be doing more. I should have, I should have refinanced my bank loan. Why didn't I do that? And then when I finally did all the form work and looked at it, I was like, oh, actually, you've got a rate that's really good and you've had it for years. And I'm like, oh, so all that time I was stewing in guilt. I actually, for 3 years of stewing in guilt, and I actually had the best home loan I could get for my situation.
This is what Beck does, what she knows.
Correct.
How good is it?
I know.
Yeah,
so
right.
I get to do the whole thing. So,
And isn't it funny though? Because it is different talking to someone.
Yeah.
Is my point. There is like you can know something, but when you talk to someone about it,
it can be
change.
just the way a question is asked or rephrased, and it just will open up your mind to something else. It was like when you're talking about your cash flow and having the awareness of that and where money goes, etc. And, people mistake that for a budget. And something that I do with my clients, and it's around the accountability, particularly in the first period of us working together, is we do a weekly money date where they actually have to list all of their expenses. And it's not about making it right or wrong, but it's about categorising them into needs, wants, unnecessary.
Yeah.
Again, not right or wrong, but just creating that conscious awareness of where they're putting their money and what they're spending it on, because we want to also establish goals and we want to understand what their values are, like what really matters to them. Is it travelling the world? Is it buying a house? What is it? Because if you're putting all your money into saving to buy a house, but that's not a value for you, but travelling the world is, then you're forever going to be disconnected from your money. Yeah. Because it's going to be hard. It's not going to feel peaceful, calm and all of those things because it's not aligned to what you want.
And again, we hear, Steph, when people find their own clarity around what's true to them, and we know we talk to Good Life, everything becomes clear and everything becomes okay. But without that awareness or without that coaching and going through that process back, we're potentially taking on society's values and what other people want and value. Therefore, it's not really our life.
Correct. Like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
You are. And there's a lot about vulnerability in this work too. You have to be a bit vulnerable. Do you
100%.
find that?
Yes.
That you've got to be vulnerable with yourself and as well let the clients do the same thing?
It took me a while to just even be vulnerable with myself, and to acknowledge where I was at and the choices I had made. Yeah. And to just own them and not blame other people. Like I was in a period of where I just blamed everyone for what I was in, the situation I was in, but no one held a gun to my head and made me spend my money on those things and not look at my bank accounts and rip up bills and push them aside. I did that. So it was about just accepting first.
Yeah. And you've gone from someone who you didn't want anyone to know the financial situation you're in because you're very embarrassed. And now this is kind of the pillar to the work that you do.
Correct.
You are now happy to talk about the story and what you've overcome. Why did that change?
Just because I thought that, I guess I started when I decided that I wanted to start a business. So when I exited the banking world and I was like, I want to start an online coaching business. And I guess it wasn't defined on money at that point. It was just coaching of some sort. And then it drilled into money as I started to, within groups of mentorship groups and things like that, share my story and hear myself saying it. And then people would be like, oh, that happened to my friend, or, oh, I went through something like that. And, oh, that was really inspiring. Like, how did you do that? And it just started to spark curiosity and interest in me. And so then, I don't know, I just became an open book. And it was like, yep, I've made so many mistakes and I'm grateful for them.
There's so much to be said about actually like radical honesty as well, because everybody wants that. There's so much fake out there. People actually really want to know the true story. What your actual face is, not the one that you put out into the world. You're obviously dealing with a lot of different clients, so you would have heard a lot of stories,
yes,
I'm sure, over this time. What are the most sort of common money behaviours or emotional patterns that you see with your clients?
So a lot of it is taking on conditioning from our parents and things like that, or most of it is around avoidance and a lack of awareness and a lack of clarity. And
which was hand up 100% me.
And people create this narrative just because they don't have the clarity and awareness that everything is a mess. And sometimes it's actually not.
Yes. Yeah, right?
Like you said before, it was like, oh, I'm actually not doing that bad.
Yeah.
At the start, when I work with someone, it's really important for me to find the glimmers of hope, not focus on the areas that could be improved. Like, let's actually find the little glimmers that can give them that confidence boost that, it's not as bad as I thought. So that gets them then into the momentum of being able to create that change cycle. And so it's just really about, the simplest of things that I get my clients to do is to log into your bank accounts every single morning, and no matter what the balance is, just express gratitude for it.
Yeah.
And to do that every day without fail. Like, it's a rock in it's a habit that you do, whether it's while you're having your morning coffee, whatever it might be, however you can habit stack it to make it a concrete thing in your day. You log in and you check it and you have the awareness and the clarity and you stop avoiding.
Yeah, right. How does that change people?
It removes them from that avoidance.
Yep.
And they have clarity of what they've got. They have the awareness. And as they see their money ebb and flow as it does throughout the weeks or whatever, it's also having that when you're in a place of gratitude for no matter what, you shift yourself out of scarcity and fear because you can just be, you're anchoring into great gratitude. And sometimes it's about getting to a neutral place, and that's the goal to start with. If you're in fear, the idea of being at peace and confidence can feel like that's such a long way away from where I'm at. It's going to be impossible. That's not for me. How about we just get to neutral?
Yeah, one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good point to bring in the concept of scarcity and scarcity mindsets. I think that is so common at the moment because we kind of absorb the messages that are out there in the world, and we're hearing that there's economic turmoil. We're hearing AI is killing jobs. We're hearing everything.
And Steph, you might know, what's the percentage of positive to negative news overall? It's like 72% negative or something, isn't it?
Which is such a fundamentally human thing that we are wired to a negativity bias because that's how we're, managed to walk away. Yeah, exactly. That's why we're walking around driving cars and sitting in fancy buildings is negativity bias. It has an evolutionary trait, but I think that there are a lot of negative stories about money, particularly. Scarcity is coming in. How do you try and help people shift away from a scarcity mindset?
I think it really starting with the basics, like I said before, like simply just logging into your bank account and being grateful for what it is. Having awareness of what your foundation expenses are. So that's something that we work through first off, is identifying what your foundation, so that's like your rent, bills, etc., and working towards establishing what I call a peace of mind fund. So that is like literally 1 month of those foundation expenses where that's your security blanket, that's your buffer. So if something happens unexpected, you're okay for a little bit. It removes
You've got a buffer.
You've got yourself a buffer. Like most people don't even have $1,000 in the bank because it doesn't feel safe to. They don't trust themselves to have it.
Isn't that's such a contradiction of terms, right?
Yeah.
Like I find that quite interesting, quite shocking that you will spend money because you don't feel. But probably because I'm the opposite. I'm someone who
Or you hoard it. The other thing is you hoard it.
Which is not to say that, you know, I've got a buffer of wealth, but I feel safest when I've got a lot of savings, which is probably from,
Well, I'm happy to volunteer. I would never have more than $400 in my discretionary account at any time.
Yes.
I like my money to be doing something, and I also like having productive debt.
Yeah.
I could be someone where money can burn a hole in my pocket.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm so debt adverse. Like I've got the home loan, I can deal with that, but I always have a reasonable cash buffer. But if I'd taken some of that cash buffer and put it into shares, it would have worked better for me. But I like just to have it just in case.
But there's even like society has this narrative of we all like to live beyond our means and stay in that scarcity thing. Like buy the things you can't afford because we'll give you XYZ platforms, buy now, pay later, etc. to have what you want. So it's like, but it's keeping you in that lack and scarcity because it's like, well, you actually don't have the funds for that, but have it anyway, and we'll just keep you stuck.
And so they don't want dopamine of it without actually, and then you have to deal with the come down later.
Yeah. Well, we've discussed this before, right, Steph, on the podcast around, you know, people get the hit before they buy something and then they buy it. It goes away quite quickly, but then they're searching for it. They're searching for it again.
Yeah. You're never happier than just before you make the purchase.
That's right. And then you do, and it's like,
here it is.
And that's it.
Yeah,
what
that
next?
big expensive thing.
And so that's when it comes back to identifying what your values are, what matters to you. Because once you have them and you can implement some goals and some structure to how you manage things, you start to change how you exchange your money.
Yeah.
And you do it confidently and consciously, and it doesn't become chasing that dopamine hit.
And I love that, you know, very early days, Bec, you institute that piece around gratitude for the bank account because from what I understand, that's a real key pillar or tenement of abundance mindset.
Yeah.
Being grateful, going back to that and practicing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can be, the highest frequency you can have is gratitude and love. And so, you know, I actually just ran a challenge through my Instagram around, it was a 10-day money love challenge, and it was a free challenge that I ran. And it was literally just anchoring into those basics of every day logging into your bank accounts, checking it, expressing gratitude and things like that, journaling on it. What emotion? Being curious around what emotions pop up for you. Where has that come from? What's that story? And so, anchoring people into just that gratitude and love is really the biggest way to shift out of scarcity.
And get the awareness as well as to what's driving it all.
And removing the judgment.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. I agree. We obviously love inspirational stories on this show. You're definitely an inspirational story. You managed to turn around very well. What are some great client stories that you have? Who are some people that you know who've managed to make their situation better?
She's one of my first clients actually, and she's come back around a few different times just because life has taken different chapters. But when she came to me, she was so distraught. So her husband had passed away and he controlled everything. She didn't even have access to the bank account. She didn't know the online banking logins, nothing. She didn't even know where the mortgage was. She had 3 children, and she received a large lump sum of money, like the payout from his estate, etc. And she was just like, oh my God, where do I start? What do I do? And so we just literally, it was, let's set up a bank account for yourself. Like it was literally starting from scratch, doing the bare minimum basics, identifying her expenses, putting a plan in place of how to manage and navigate it, how to automate certain things, not allowing that big lump sum of money to be where she sees it all the time, but basically, like you had touched on before, paying herself a salary for her family. So there was some structure there until she was in a position to be able to start working for herself and bring in her own income. And so we started there, and that was 4 years ago. That was her story. And now, like, she's just bought her second investment property not that long ago.
That's such a good story.
Yeah, so she's gone from not knowing how to log into banking or pay a bill to now, you know, she's creating herself a property portfolio and investing for her kids' futures and booking holidays overseas and things like that. And so, she has such an incredible mindset and belief in what she deserves and what she's worthy of. And she's just like, okay, this is my next step. How do we get there? What do we do?
Yeah. Is she enjoying it?
She loves it.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And we've actually become really close friends because, you know, you share the
values,
the values and the depths of it, and you work through it together, and you create a bond. Like there's every single one of my clients I'm still connected with in some manner.
Yeah. I mean, like it can actually this can be fun as well. This can be fun for people having to, work out where your money's coming and going. Like it doesn't have to be a drag.
No, not at all.
Like it's not just drudgery.
No, and then another one of my clients, it ended up evolving to be her and her husband together. Like she came to me initially. There was conflict in their marriage over money because two different stories, two different values. I believe this, I want this, and just clashing and stress. And they were on the brink of divorce basically because they just couldn't see eye to eye. And we were able to create a space where they can respect each other's goals and beliefs of what they want, but still support each other together and share different ideals of what they want, but they're united and support each other and celebrate each other as they achieve different things.
Yeah, and we have talked about that a lot, that you can have very different stories and it creates a lot of tension. And sometimes it's just that people haven't even talked about it. They don't even know what the other person wants from their money or their retirement or their future.
Well, it was put to me quite a while ago now, Steph, in terms of, relationship record. Think about, a partner couple is two different colours. You don't want to mix those colours together. You just want to put a circle around it, and that's the relationship. We don't want to end up with brown as a colour. If they're yellow and orange, that's who they are. But it's shared goals, like Bec said.
It's about understanding there's no right or wrong. No one's right, no one's wrong. It's like, this is what you want, this is what you want. Okay, how do we come together to make both of those things happen and support each other to do so?
And communication being the key, right?
Correct.
I'm sure there are people who are listening to this at the moment who are probably feeling a little bit stuck. Maybe they're a bit overwhelmed or, ashamed about money. We know that that's all very common. Where should they begin? What is the first step?
I kind of touched on it already before, is literally just start logging into your bank accounts every morning. Like, start with that, express the gratitude, stop avoiding it, be curious as to why you're avoiding it. Like, what are you worried about? Like, is it that there's not enough? Are you worried that it's getting taken away from you? Like, what is the narrative of why you're avoiding it? Like, just be curious with that and simply start small. Log into your bank accounts every day, express some gratitude for it. Talk about it with your partner and do it together. Make it a joint thing. And then just get clear on what your base life expenses are, your foundation expenses are. Just understand those things first, because until you have that clarity, you're not actually going to be able to make a conscious decision about anything else. And you're always going to be stuck in that avoidant, scarce mindset because you're overwhelmed by what you don't even know.
Yeah. And the outcome doesn't need to be that you're suddenly rich beyond your means, right?
No.
Transformation can look like a lot of different things for different people. What to you is meaningful transformation?
Feeling confident about your money, being able to spend consciously on the things that you truly want and not have a level of guilt or shame around what that is. Like, be like, I want to go buy whatever it is. I'm going to buy it. I have the money there. I'm going to do that and enjoy it. Actually enjoy it. Make it something fun, like take yourself out on a date to purchase, if it's a material thing, for example, or if it's making an investment, like celebrate it. Actually celebrate it.
And don't let it be mindless. Don't let it just be something that you do in a second and then forget about the next.
Yeah, like I sit down and I do a money date every single week, and I involve my daughter in it now because she's 11 and she's old enough.
That's great. And so you're taking her on the journey then as well.
Correct. And so she knows what our costs are. Like, she knows. And she knows what money's in my bank account, and she has that understanding. And, we sit there, and we've just recently moved house, and so there's been a few changes. And she goes, Mummy, we have to check our peace of mind fund. Like, do we need to change how much is in there now? So, we have those conversations, but we make it fun. Like, we cook dinner together, we put music on, sometimes we light candles, we have a dance. Like, it's an enjoyable thing that we share together, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with your children, it can be with your partner. But for me, it's important to teach her, because I don't want her growing up with any of what I experienced or felt throughout the various stages.
When you're creating a legacy for the next generation, aren't you?
Correct.
Yeah, giving her a good money story so she knows what it is, and making sure there isn't any of that shame or confusion, and she doesn't have to learn it by herself at some point in the future.
And when she's in her era of Labubu's and things like that.
So many kids, they love them.
Funny, so Steph.
Yeah.
I love that other people love them. But as a kid, I'm sure I would have loved a Labubu.
Yeah, so she's like, that's her current obsession, and she's like, And so it'll be like if we're out and about, she's like, oh, can we go to Pop Mart? And I'm like, well, what do you think is it this week? Like it's not, no, we can't afford it or any of those sort of things. It's like, do you think it's the right time right now? Or maybe we need to wait a little bit.
Conscious spending.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so 'cause she gets some pocket money and she's got her savings and things like that. So she's the one using it, her money, but it's not getting caught up in that, oh, we're out, so I need to buy something. Do you really need it right now? Like, yeah.
And
what is that?
And that's it's a level of conscious spending that I think most adults don't actually have.
No, most of us spend emotionally.
Yeah, very much so.
You're in a rush or you're stressed. Let's buy something. Let's fill that void.
Feeling good, buy something. Feeling bad, buy something.
Look, Bec, I think that you've given us so many interesting little gems to think about. I really do appreciate you coming on. If people want to hear more from you, where should they look?
Best place is on my Instagram. I am Bec Allan. And yeah, like I've just connect with me through there.
Beautiful. And if you got value from this conversation, do make sure you follow Money and a Good Life wherever you're listening so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you next time. Advice given in this podcast is general in nature and is not intended to influence decisions about investing or financial products. Our listeners should always seek their own professional advice that considers their own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions.